Welcome back to my channel. Y'all, I'm here today to do a good old-fashioned shop my stash. I miss the old-fashioned like OG YouTube videos from like 7 or 8 years ago where people sat like in front of their couch with no lights, just in front of a mirror and played with makeup. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I pulled out quite a few things that I have not used in a while. Some things have been like a while. So let's go ahead and jump in. I have already done my brows, primed my lids, and I have used my Jane Iredale corrector because some things, I just don't shop my stash for y'all. What's the point? I use it every single day. That will always be a part of my routine. So let's start with foundation. This is the Bite Beauty Changemaker Supercharged Micellar Foundation. I personally find this to be more of, I guess it's a foundation. It's lightweight. It's light to medium coverage. It's really pretty. I am in the shade M65. So it just has, if you haven't seen it, a regular like squeeze tube. I do prefer a pump because I feel like that helps me manage my product better. If I know after using it a couple times that I use 2 pumps, then I will not ever use too much or too little. These are a little more finicky in that respect. I probably need to pull my hair back, which I will do in just a second. But right now I have foundation all over. Oh my goodness, all over the place. So I'm just gonna dot that like I normally do. The brush has kind of shot my stash because I started using this a few days ago. I pulled it out of my drawer. This is the BH Cosmetics #2 brush. It came in like one of their mini sets, but y'all, I've had this for years and I remember loving it. So I pulled it out and I've been using it the past few days because I did love it. So I'm just stippling that in. It's a real pretty luminous finish. So this is like the skin with just skincare. And then you can see, okay, yeah, normal, woo, luminous. You could easily apply this with your fingers as well, but I'm just a brush girl through and through. There's a few foundations that I prefer using a beauty blender with. I would say 99% of the time, I like using a brush. I personally think this foundation is better suited to a normal to drier skin type, but that's not saying that if you have combo skin, you can't use it and set it with a more mattifying powder, because you can, but you can see it does have that more luminous finish to it. Okay, for concealer, y'all, I have not used this one in a hot minute. This is the Hourglass Vanish Concealer. I am in the shade Apricot. I kind of do my concealers the same way as foundations as far as like when I'm going to throw them out. And this one's got about, I would say, 5 more months life to it. But honestly, if I were to start using it regularly again, I would run out before that 5 months came up. This used to be one of my very favorite concealers. It is still really good, y'all. I'm continuously getting new concealers and trying new things and falling in love with new things. So, that's why I love these Shop My Stash videos, because it causes you, or not, it really forces you to like remember products that you used to love and use all the time, but just ended up in the back of your drawer because you got something new. So this is good. This is a concealer that I like to mention every single time I use it. It is one I personally think you need to buy in store, because when it first launched, I just knew, and I'm pretty good at like picking things out like color wise online. And I just knew that my color was going to be, I don't even know, not this. And then I went in store. I remember I had a lot of gift cards and they were like the kind that you couldn't use online. So I went in store and it was so not my color, the one that I was going to buy online. And I don't find that with a ton of products. So definitely I feel like this needs to be checked out in store, but it is a favorite of a lot of people for good reason. It's a very good concealer. Now I'm gonna let that sink in. Now let's do eyes. And I'm going to use the majority of eyeshadow sticks. If you are new to my channel, you may not know, I love eyeshadow sticks. I love cream eyeshadows. These though, they just can't be beat, I feel like, in ease of use in performance, in longevity. They're just so good. So I'm going to start out with the Cream Stay Shadow Stick from Glow Skin Beauty in Bon Bon. And this is the dark brown color. And I'm going to start out on my outer corner and kind of sloppily apply that to that outer corner. And then I'm going to take a synthetic brush. This is an old one from the Morphe Gunmetal collection, which I don't even think is a thing. But as long as it's like I do find synthetic brushes work better with cream shadow sticks. So as long as it's synthetic and a little bit stiffer, it'll work. I'm going to pull it a little bit up on that brow bone and see how easy it blends out. You can use your finger to do any additional blending you want. I mean, so simple. So simple. I don't use these enough, and I use them quite a bit, but I feel like I could use them every single day. I have a huge drawer full of shadow sticks in different colors, different finishes, different brands. This is the side where my brow bone is a little more finicky, but that's the joy of these, because you just you don't have to be perfect. They blend out so easily. They're just user-friendly. And I feel like, how do I say this? I feel like people feel like they're harder to use than powders. And to me, they're like just as easy, if not easier. Again, I know it doesn't match, but let's see how it, works out once I put my next color on, and then we'll go from there and fix it. I had originally thought that I was going to do like a warmer look. And so I was going to use my Laura Mercier Copper, which again is my favorite. Out of all of my shadow sticks, it is hands down my favorite color. It is like a more of a metallic sheen. But then I put on this shirt and I'm like, I need to do something more pink. So I grabbed my Bobbi Brown in Golden Pink. So this is a Longwear Cream Shadow Stick. Golden Pink, again, one of my favorite colors for a pinkier look. And I am going to put that on the inner corner and overlap a little bit and just gently blend that in where the two shades meet. Not get easier or faster than that. And then I'm just going to go in to that Bon Bon shade, pick a little bit up on that same brush that we used to blend it out. Look and see if anything needs to be touched up or matched up. Not much. I'm happy with where that is. And I don't know about y'all, but this looks like it's way more complicated than slapping two shadow sticks on the eye. You could easily get that one from Glow Skin, or even I think Cocoa from Bobbi Brown. Laura Mercier has a dark brown one. Use that every day in the outer corner and just switch up the inner shades. I mean, it's just love, love. Powder, I'm going to use the corresponding powder to the foundation that we used, and this is the Change Maker Flexible Coverage Press Powder. Now, this is kind of shopping my stash, because if you will see, I use this a lot. I like this. I don't talk about it a lot since I first reviewed it, but I use it a lot, especially off camera. I just find myself reaching for this powder. I really enjoy it. This is the color Medium 1. This is not a ton of coverage, so it's not like a foundation powder, but I do feel like you need to get in the realm of your color. It is not super mattifying, but it's also not very luminous. But these two products together, there's a reason that they were marketed together and launched together. They work beautifully together, in my opinion. So I'm going to use my there I go again, Osmosis, every single time I try to say it. Osmosis Full Face Brush, which has just been my go-to for powder lately. And just kind of stamp that all over. Obviously, if you're someone who just likes to wear powder in your T-zone, you're not going to use a brush this big, but I love it. Super fast, super easy. For bronzer, I'm going to use my Kosas bronzer. What is this called? The Sun Show Moisturizing Baked Bronzer. And I am in the shade Medium. So really pretty. You can see it has a little bit of a sheen, hence the name moisturizing. Typically baked products do have a little bit of a sheen to them. This one actually has a little bit more of a sheen than some of my other baked products, but it's still very pretty. If you do not like a bronzer that does have that sheen to it, just move along. This is not matte. So I'm using my Rephr 22 brush, pulling my hair back, even though it's back, because we all have our thing, and apparently I just cannot apply bronzer without feeling like I'm holding my hair back. It's baked pretty hard into the pan, so I do feel like it works best with a natural hairbrush. That's just my opinion, but from what I have found, it picks up the best when I use a brush that has natural hair versus synthetic hair. And when I have issues with products picking up in the pan, as long as I, switch to a natural hairbrush, typically that fixes it. For blush, I am going to go into my Suku palette. I hope that you can still get this. Again, this is Shop My Stash, so some of this stuff may not be available, but I will link everything that I can find. This is the Blush Compact 101. So this is what it looks like. They brought another one out, which I ended up getting, and I liked it, but I never used it, so I sold it because out of the two, I do prefer this one. So it has the 4 blushes and then 2 highlights. And I'm gonna kind of go between these top 2 pink colors. They're very pigmented, so you don't need much at all. And I'm just gonna stipple just a little bit on my cheeks. Also a good travel palette, because you got your warm tones, your cool tones, and then your highlights. So really for cheek colors, you wouldn't need anything but this. Buff out my face, which I'm going to do before I do highlight because that's a cream. I'm going to use my Guerlain Meteorites because typically y'all know I reach for my hourglass, but I do really enjoy these. So I wanted to bring these out, and what I'd like to do is shake them up. Open the top. These are in the color Pearl Glow, by the way, and then dip my brush in. I feel like when I shake them up like that, I don't know if y'all can see that powder coming off. I feel like when I shake them up like that, it helps break up the balls just a little bit, so I'm able to pick up more powder on my brush. Oh, I love the smell of these so much. I was on such a mission to find a perfume that smelled just like these Meteorites, because I adore the smell. And I found it. It's the Guerlain Insolence. Talked about that before. So what I have found is that these pearls lighten up my skin a little bit, whereas the Radiant Light that I typically use from Hourglass warms it up a little bit. So depending on my look, I might choose one over the other. This is kind of cheating too, because technically this is not Shopping My Stash because I use this quite a bit. It's one of my very favorites, but it's the Glisten and Glow Skin Illuminator from Lila B. And it is a cream, but it is more of like a cream to powder. So I can easily tap this on top of powder and it never disturbs anything, but it's so incredibly beautiful. Y'all, it's just, it's one of my favorites for a reason, and it absolutely looks like skin. So I am going to spritz with my Chantecaille Rose Water. Again, not technically Shop My Stash. One of my favorites. Before I go off camera to do mascara, I'm going to take a little bit more of that brown Bonbon shade directly onto the brush from the bullet and smoke that underneath the lash line. Now, I technically could very easily draw this on from the crayon and then blend it out, but it would be much darker and a little bit more harsh. So if you want something to be a little softer and more smoked out, taking it directly from the stick like this with your brush is going to be a lot easier, and it's going to achieve that look of a softer blend. Okay, for lips, I am going to be using the City Lips, what is this? Plumping Lip Gloss in San Diego. And it's a pretty pinky gold. Pretty opaque for a gloss. These aren't uncomfortable in the plumping department, but they are a little bit thicker and they're a little sticky. So if you're someone that doesn't like that in a gloss, you're not going to like this. But I do really enjoy this color, and I don't mind a sticky gloss. I find the stickier they are, the longer they tend to wear. So the only thing we have left is fragrance. Y'all know I'm not gonna not talk about a fragrance. And I pulled this out because I have not worn this in such a long time. This is the Banana Republic Dark Cherry and Amber. Again, I'm gonna have to see if I can find where you can find this. I'm sure some discounters may have it. I don't know if you can still get it on the Banana Republic website or not, but this is or has been touted to be one of the many proclaimed dupes for Baccarat Rouge 540. I can see kind of where they could be some distant cousins, but I don't find them to be dupes by any means. Some people say it reminds them more of Burberry Her. However, Francis Kurkdjian, you know, he was the nose behind Burberry Her. So a lot of people say it's very similar with Baccarat Rouge. And then people are saying this is more similar to Her than 540. I don't have Her. I have 540. This is Sour Cherry, Pink Freesia, Praline, Cherry Blossom, Amber, and Cedar. It is a sweet perfume. If you do not like sweet, don't get it. I do believe this is touted as unisex. And if you are a man or have a significant other that likes sweeter perfumes, I could totally see this being pulled off by a guy. I really enjoy this. It's not the longest lasting perfume. I find that to typically be the case. I'm not going to put a blanket statement over all designer perfumes, but I do find that, my designers don't last as long as my niche fragrances. I definitely don't get a whole day's wear out of this, but it is a pleasant cherry type of sweet scent, but you also get that darkness of the amber shine through as well. So really pretty. Haven't used it in a while, and I'm glad I pulled it out. So that is the finished look. Hopefully you enjoyed this Shop My Stash. I love doing these because it just reminds me of products that I love and I need to get back out and use more often. And honestly, I'll use all of these more often, but I am going to be doing this eye look probably for the next week because it was just so simple. And again, I'll kind of switch out those inner corner shimmer shades and, be done. Have my eyeshadow look be done in 2 minutes flat. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions or comments down in the comment section below. Like I said, everything that I can find, I will link in the description box. So check that out along with a lot of other information. And thank you all so much for watching. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. I hope you're all staying happy, healthy, safe, and sane, and that most of all, you go out and have a very blessed day.